Hey all, Revan here, and welcome back to episode 11 of Astroblock, where today we're going to finally get into Matter Overdrive and see about getting just a little bit closer to applied energistics. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. So after completing the vast majority of the Galacticraft quest lines, we now actually have the ability to get started on our Matter Overdrive. Now, if you remember previously, the thing that was holding us up were the decompressors, which, let's see if I can find them right here. All right, so the Matter Decompressor, it was holding us up because we needed blue diamonds. Now, in order for us to make a reactor, there's a few things that we need. Obviously, we need the hulls, we need the controller, we need some stabilizers, and we are going to need these matter decompressors, which are essentially what is going to be feeding the reactor with fuel. So in order to make these, we needed to get to Kepler. So now we should have everything that we need in order to make them, other than a spare piston or two, but I think we have everything we need to make those. So let's just make up a bunch of these real quick, because there is something that I do want to try. All right, so we'll just make a bunch of those and toss these in. So we now have one matter decompressor, but we are going to need two. So we are going to need more conversion matrix and integration matrix, which I'm hoping we have most of the things we need to make these guys. All right, so in total, I made 4 of the matter decompressors. Now, you only need 2 for a single reactor. However, like I said, I feel like trying something, because I remember working in a previous pack that I had utilized. These fusion reactor coils go around the actual reactor. So what we do is, first off, we have to come down to where our anomaly is, and if I can place this correctly. There we go. That should be in line with the anomaly here. Now, we need to count 2 blocks out from the anomaly. So 1, 2, and this is where our stabilizer is going to go in that space. So the actual controller is going to go 3 blocks away from the anomaly. Let's just let's see. I know I made a controller in here somewhere. Reactor controller. There we go. And we're going to want to obviously place this facing outwards. And as you can see, once you place the controller, it'll actually show you where everything else has to go. And it looks like I made a horrible miscalculation when it came to the size of this. It's looking like, yeah, it looks like I need to move it over by 1 here. So where is do I have the wrench in here? I do. So like a lot of packs, Matter Overdrive has its own wrench. So we can just shift click that off. We'll come over here and re-grab our controller. Now, I think if we just click this. All right, so this is actually wanting us to have it placed in the correct location. So I'm going to have to expand this little obsidian barrier that I made. I did obviously miscalculate quite a bit what it needs to be. So let me fix this up real quick. So after a bit of putzing around and a lot of obsidian usage, I expanded our little area here by an extra 3 blocks. So that should give us the room that we need. Now, like I was saying before, once you actually place down the controller, it shows an outline of at least the relative shape of the device that you're making. It won't tell you where everything goes, but that's, you know, a fairly simple thing. So on the sides of the controller, you just need to put down your decompressors. You're also going to need fusion reactor cells. Now, these go out essentially in these 3 boxes right here along the outsides. So if you want, you can just place This jetpack is killing me. Just kind of pillar up until you can reach it, and then you can actually place it on the anomaly itself until you get to the point where you need to put the reactor coils. Jump up here and we'll do the same thing for each side. I'm not having very good luck here. I wish the jetpack was a little bit more workable. So, oh, see, yeah, and if you stand in the anomaly, you actually take damage. So don't stand in the anomaly. All right, so now that we have this, and none of this really matters because as soon as we get the blocks placed, we can remove it. So let's go put the rest of our fusion reactor coils down. Again, it's going to be 3 of them on every side except for the side that has the controller. So we'll just place that there, and the final 2 over here. And then the rest of the blocks are actually going to be just these machine hulls. So you can place them any which way that you like. Obviously, using helper blocks is probably going to be the easiest bet to get these things down. There we go. And then this final side over here. So we just go like that. Now, if we come back over to our anomaly itself, it will show a completed structure. It won't tell you it's complete, but you'll now see on the interface, power 100, charge 0, matter 0. Now, in order to get this thing started, you need to actually feed these matter decompressors with some energy. So just using like a flex point or, leading a wire over here will be fine. Once the system is up and running and you have it being constantly filled with fuel, you don't actually need to keep these guys powered. So now we're just going to do a little bit of a cleanup here. And if you notice, a lot of the cobblestone is just going to get sucked right back into the anomaly, which is not really a bad thing, but you want to do the next step I'm going to show you before you kind of go a little bit too wild on feeding the anomaly to make it stronger, because you can get yourself into quite a bit of trouble if you don't do this next part here. So the next part is essentially it's going to be an item that contains the anomaly. So if we were just to feed this anomaly, if we were just to feed the anomaly with a bunch of cobblestone or obsidian to make it increase in size, the actual anomaly itself will get bigger. It'll get significantly bigger, and as it gets bigger, it'll start breaking blocks, and it can actually get to a size where it will break the reactor itself. It'll start sucking the reactor blocks off. Now, the way you get around that is by using gravitational stabilizers. So these take space-time equalizers, machine casings, superconductor magnets, and holographic signs, all of which are not too difficult to make. So the space-time equalizers, we had to make these already in order to upgrade our android so that we could get close to this anomaly without, being affected by its gravitational pull. So, we have those on, or we at least know we have the ability to make those. So we are going to need at least 4 of these. And what are we missing? We're missing some of the superconductors, which is just redstone, titanium, and ender pearls. So let's just grab, I don't know, half a stack of these guys. Now I'm going to be making 8 of these because, like I said, I'm going to be seeing if doubling up the reactors still works. All right, we're We're missing some machine casings. All right. But as you can see right now, we if we can get close enough to this anomaly over here, we have a mass of 9,664, a range of 7.85, and a break range of 3.92. So if we toss on, where's our gravitational stabilizers here? If we toss one of these guys on over here, if we place it the correct way, and you do need to be careful while placing these, because you don't want to lose you don't want to lose all the blocks that you made. So we'll just kind of pillar out here on the side like this, and as you can see, remember 785 and 392. Okay, so when you place them, you actually have to place them facing the anomaly itself. So I just built a little bridge out and put a piece of cobblestone in there. But like I said before, the range was 7.85. The range now is 6.57. So these stabilizers do exactly what they sound like they're going to do. They're actually stabilizing the anomaly. So you really want to ensure that everything that you're doing to this before you're feeding it is, you know, to ensure that the anomaly itself is going to be stable and not going to destroy itself. So we'll throw another one on here, and we'll just delete those blocks. And then if we come on over, you can now see we're at 5.49. So these are what you're going to utilize to actually keep this thing in check, so it doesn't end up destroying itself. So I'm going to place down the rest of these stabilizers here, and then we'll look to actually start this thing up. Okay, now that we have all of these stabilizers intact, if we make our way back over to our anomaly, we can now see the range is 3.85 and the break range is 1.92. So as long as we keep it so that the break range is within this area right here and doesn't actually start touching the blocks on the outside, we won't actually have any issues. I have played around with this in the past, and it's even broken cryo-stabilized flux duct. So I had like a line of flux ducts running all the way out from the controller, you know, retrieving the energy from it, and it was breaking them like 6 blocks away. So you do need to be careful. If you go too overboard, you'll end up regretting it. Now, what we ended up doing is we took some flux points and we tossed them on top here. So the next step is going to be taking some item conduits and just leading them into the decomposers here. So what I'm thinking is I want to check, will it take obsidian as a fuel? Normally in the past, I've done things like diamond and stuff like that because, you know, we had diamond seeds and stuff. But this pack, you're kind of limited to what you can, you know, produce infinitely. So we have things like redstone, clay, obsidian, that we can have generators for. So if obsidian works in here, we might use that because it does have, if you hold shift when you're looking at it, it has a matter of 16. Now diamond has a matter of 256. And the reason that this type of stuff matters is because of the fact that the decompressor here, depending upon how much matter the item is that you're tossing in, will kind of determine how fast it eats through it. Now we have things like redstone blocks, which have a matter of 36, which is higher than obsidian, but I'm not 100% sure it's going to take it. So I suppose we should probably grab a redstone block and actually test that out, because we might be better off using a couple of the redstone generators. So let's just toss this in here and see if it's going to eat it up. And it will, very slowly. And we can also toss some upgrades on here, some speed upgrades. Let's see, redstone, will you take redstone? All right, so we'll take both obsidian and both redstone. So what this is going to do is it's going to convert these blocks into plasma, and then that's going to feed the reactor itself. So obviously the faster you can convert a block, the faster you can make plasma, and the faster the machine will make energy. So we definitely want to upgrade these guys with some speed upgrades. Now, I'm not sure if we have everything that we need for that. Let's check this out. So we're going to need a total of 8, which is just going to take some redstone, glowstone dust, an emerald, and some of these titanium plates, isolineo circuits, Mark 1, and then some more redstone. So let's see if we can actually make 8 of these guys real quick. And we ran out of emerald, so I'm going to have to go mine up some of the emerald we're getting from the resource miner. All right, well, we got our 8 speed upgrades thanks to our ore miner up there. We had just enough emeralds. I think we have 2 emerald ore left. We definitely don't get a lot of it. So now if we come back into here and go to upgrades, we should be able to toss all of those guys in there. I wouldn't worry too much about things like failure and stuff like that, just because of the fact that I've never actually had anything fail when I put a speed upgrade into it. But as you can see over here, we now have roughly 2.5% of the reactor filled up with plasma, which means that it should be producing energy. So now that we have this running, I'm thinking we are just going to stick with the redstone as far as a way of making power here. So I have a servo, and I'm just going to toss you on, and I'm going to, let's see, can we do round robin on this? All right, so we have this set to round robin, so it should be splitting them up equally. This won't be the fastest thing in the world because it's just regular item ducts. But as you can see, we already have a stack in there and a stack in there. So this should be feeding our fusion reactor, and it will take a while to get up to 100% efficiency. But once it does, this thing will really start cranking out the power. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to tell how much power we actually have going, so we might actually have to make a separate network for this to go to. So let me see if I have any redstone plugs. We do have one. We can just toss you right there, and let's see. Let's create a new network. We'll just call it reactor, and we'll set that on there, and then we will turn off the transfer limit, and let's see if we can't set something up to test this guy here. All right, so there is one thing that I did slightly wrong here. So in order to power the decomposers, you can place points on top like I did. However, if you just place it on the controller itself, the controller will end up powering both of the decomposers as well as itself. And the controller needs power to kind of jumpstart itself as well. Now, if you don't have points, you can use batteries or energy cubes, anything that you'd like just to kind of toss into this slot right here. However, now that we have matter running into the reactor as well as power, we are going to be starting to produce energy as well. So if I come into the basement over here, I have set up a resonant energy cell. This has 15 million RF. So if I take this and I just change that to reactor, let me toss you up there so I don't get you guys confused. And if I toss you on top of there, reactor, and I come down here, you can see that it is already very quickly filling up. I'm already up to 6 million, and that's just from the short period of time it's been sitting there. I think the reactor itself had probably around 30 million RF stored up in it just from the time that I turned it on and then started recording to come back over here. So it did not take a long time to get to where it needs to go. Now, this will get stronger and start producing more energy as well as it starts nearing its 100% phase. So if we come over here, we have 100% matter, 100% power, and the charge is at 88%. So as these two bars right here kind of get closer to each other, you can see there's a 100% mark right here. The reactor itself will start working at 100%. And once it does that, we should be able to take the power off of the reactor, and it will be, as long as there's fuel running into it, it'll be self-sufficient. Another thing is you will receive matter dust, which is essentially just a byproduct of converting items into matter. You can just pipe that out and toss that into a trash can or a lava pit, whatever it is that you'd like. I'm probably just going to, at least for the time being, kind of just take it out and toss it away, because it won't produce very quickly. And then these decompressors will also kind of build up a surplus of matter as well as your reactor itself fills up. So there's one other thing I wanted to try, and I'm going to set that up, and then I'll be right back. All right, so what I wanted to try did not work, unfortunately. Normally with Matter Overdrive, you can actually rotate the blocks with this titanium wrench here. And what that allows you to do is put stabilizers above and below the anomaly as well to kind of give it a little bit more stability. What you can also do is you can make another ring kind of going vertically and have that be its own separate reactor. So you can essentially get double the output from a single anomaly. Okay, so once you actually have your anomaly and your reactor all kind of set up to where you want it to be, you can start feeding it and try to get more power production out of it. Right now I have, doesn't look like I'm pulling any power, but I think that's just because of the fact that, yeah, it's at 100% capacity. It's already filled up that 50 million that we have. So what I have here is just some simple compressed cobblestone, and I'm gonna toss that all in there. And our anomaly is now up to 9,982. The break range is up to 4, so we kind of have to be careful. Anything more, and we're gonna have to start worrying about these guys break. The break level is 0.38. So we still have a ways to go before we have to worry about these guys breaking here. But I think that's a good place to leave off with that for now. I'm going to leave this point on for right now, just to make sure that it doesn't fail on me. But with that, now that we actually have a good amount of energy production, we can actually start coming over here to our task screen, and we can start selecting some of the higher end energy quests that we have. Now, we've already completed the 100 million, but obviously we have not gotten into the 1 billion. So I think that's a good one to start with. We can just take our point from over here, and we can just toss this up on here and say reactor, and we've already hit 1 billion. That was pretty quick. So as far as quests go, let's see, we've made the Matter Decomposer. The Matter Replicator, we don't really need to do. That's another way that you can actually feed the reactor itself. You can use matter to replicate items and feed it. So, or use energy to replicate items to feed the reactor. But since we actually have generators in this pack, it's not a whole lot of use for it. But we've completed the 1 billion, so now we need to do the 10 billion, the 100 billion, and the 1,000. So what did we get here? We got a simple generator. So we'll just come over to the quest again, scroll all the way to the bottom, and try to find our 10 billion. And look at that thing go. That's just from that reactor running off of redstone. So as you can see, like, the reason that they left it for the end of the pack is because of the fact you're never going to need that much you're never going to need that much energy, especially in this pack when you have very, very little use for machines. Now, I'm normally a huge mechanism fan, and so I'm using mechanism left and right mixed with thermal and, you know, applied energistics and stuff like that. But we really don't have any of those crazy crafting recipes that we need everything set up and automated for and require just an obscene amount of power. So let's come back over here. Task. We're going to have to do 100 billion next. That one might take a little bit longer, but we can claim you. We'll work on the 100 billion, and then it's just the 1 trillion RF. We've also completed the simple ender generator. Now, unfortunately, I kind of have to break it down to you guys like this. I will not be 100%ing this quest. The reason why I won't 100% this mod pack, I should say, is for fairly simple reasons. Some of it's broken. As you can see, I made the basic energy cube. You've seen me place down an elite energy cube. However, the advanced energy cube will not register as a completion. I've even done things like I've gone into creative, I've pulled an advanced energy cube out, I've turned off my wireless charging, all that good stuff. Speaking of which, I need to turn you back on. There we go. So certain quest lines aren't actually completing, and there's not much I can do about that other than just going into the configs, finding the quest number, and having it autocomplete. But you know, to me, it's not really worth it. So what do we get here? We got a shulker box, a walkie-talkie, a flying saddle pet, a processing cable, some pristine enderman matter, a smelter, and a simple ender generator. Also, these things, I'm not really too concerned about completing these just because of the fact that it's crafting. Like now, as you can see, I went into thermal and I did a little bit of a craftathon off camera. I would say 90% of these machines I'm not going to use. I just crafted them, threw them into the system, and that was about it. The same thing is going to be going for these item ducts. Honest to gosh, I don't have a use for automating everything. There's really nothing in this pack that requires me to automate everything, and so I don't need to be making these like really hardcore item ducts that are going to transport, you know, hundreds of thousands of items per hour and stuff like that, because there's nowhere for it to go. There really isn't. Like, this pack was primarily focused around doing the galactic craft and going to the planets, and everything else is kind of almost an extra, and a lot of it you needed to get through the galactic craft before you can even get it. Like even applied energistics, theoretically I could make an applied energistic system, but I have nothing to do with it. Yes, I could transfer my items from here and put it into applied energistic system, but it's kind of like, what am I going to do then? I don't really have a use to automate my machines and make crafting recipes and everything like that. It's just that part of it is not there. So I am kind of just focused on the quests that, you know, we can get done, that have, you know, that will show you guys some interesting things. Like I did want to show the Matter Overdrive Reactor. I think that's a pretty cool reactor, and like I said, I've played around it before. I think it was Sky Factory 4 that I played around with it, and I made a pretty OP one in Sky Factory 4 because you could rotate the blocks. Now another thing about Matter Overdrive is you see this block right here and this block, you can actually build a reactor along those axes as well. So you could, in theory, have just about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 reactor rings running off of the same anomaly, as long as the pack allows it. And I can't remember what I got it up to, but it was pretty ridiculous. So these things are definitely interesting. If you see anomalies in your world that you're playing, regardless of the mod pack, do make sure that you check out to see if Matter Overdrive is in there, because, you know, it's not your average reactor. It's got cool animation. The reactor itself, sounds kind of interesting, and for what you're powering it with, I mean, I could even power this thing with dirt if I really wanted to. It would just burn through it a lot faster. This thing is kind of OP. So truthfully, after looking through the quests, realistically, there's only one more quest that I want to get done this time around. And that's going to be actually going to the black hole and making our tier 10 rocket. Now, I think, another point, the Open Computers quest line is broken. I have the Xerox. I don't have the blue screen of death, but I do have Windows ME, Windows 7, Windows 8, and 3.1, and the Mojave. And the quest won't recognize it. So nothing I can really do there. For the dark matter, I haven't come across anything. I'm thinking this is stuff that we're going to get when we actually go to the dark, possibly go to the black hole. Now, I do think I have a dark energy pearl. Oh, and we just completed our 1 trillion RF. So, yeah. That is complete. And we got a rocket turret. Yay. Okay, so we need to go to the black hole. All right, so first things first, we need to find this guy. I'm not even sure where it's going to be. Oh, right there. All right, well, let's launch and hope we don't die. Okay. So we are at the black hole. It looks like we're just on a platform over nothingness. So I'm assuming this is kind of just like a void dimension. So like a lot of packs will have a void dimension. So if you want to do things like solar power or mystical agriculture farms and stuff like that, you can have it in here without affecting your actual world. But I don't see anything else in here. So let's just label this BH, and I guess head back to Earth. Okay, so one thing I did notice is going to the black hole ate my tier 10 rocket. Now we still do have a quest in Extra Planets, which requires us to build an electric rocket, which we need 2 tier 10 rockets in order to build it. We also need some compressed platinum. We don't have a lot of platinum, so hopefully we have enough to make these 8 plates, but we're going to find out. I think the tier 2 batteries are easy, yeah. Just lead and dash, so that shouldn't be an issue. But I'm going to get all the resources together. I need to make another 2 of the tier 10 rockets, and then I'll bring you guys back for the crafting of the electric rocket. All right, so we don't actually have any of the platinum that we need, so what we're going to do is we're going to Ordic some of the regular platinum ingots that we have over to the Extra Planets. All right. Now, if I haven't said this before, I do highly recommend that you get one of these industrial foregoing or dictionary converters, and then just save one of pretty much any of the Galactic Craft or Extra Planet ingots that you are going to be using in crafting just in a chest up above, because there will be times when you need something like lead or platinum and it just doesn't seem to work unless you convert it. So that's the only reason I have that there, and I still use it to this day. All right, so let's just compress a bunch of these guys up. Now we only need 8 of these, so we should be good with that. So when we come over to our NASA workbench, we should have everything that we need for the tier 10 rockets, except for the compressed heavy plates. So, all right, let's try this again. Toss all you guys in there. Take that rocket. You guys will take that rocket. And then for the electric rockets, let's see, we do have that unlocked. Again, these 2-tiered batteries were super simple. It was just iron and lead. The rocket fins we've made before. The tier 10 rocket engine we've made before. And we still need a tier 10 nose cone. So we should be able to make that. Yep. Now the fun part of scrolling all the way through All right, we'll try this again. Toss all this stuff in there, you, and to the battery, and we have our electric rocket, which doesn't want to register. It says, all right, so it's being requires 9 powered rocket launch pads, which is weird because that actually looks like it's after, but apparently the arrow is pointed over to that. All right, so did we happen to pick any up? Rocket launch pad, tier 2, space warp. All right, so powered rocket launch pad. We're going to need compressed platinum and some platinum ingots. So we should have the compressed over here. And then I think this was platinum, yeah. We'll just take this over here. I think we should be able to run it through the enriching factory. Take over to our converter again. Now, when we make the launch pads, there we go. We have 5. So we have completed these final 2 quests. Let's see. This is going to give us a legendary and a rare. I really wish these 2 would have been switched around. It would have made more sense. So we have completed just about everything. I think the only thing we didn't do is visit one of the moons, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not in I don't think I'm going to do that. The dark matter, I still have never found one of the alien minor parts. And, you know, if I click on it, if I push R for a crafting recipe, it in no way, shape, or form tells me where it comes from. And that's not the first time that that's actually happened in this pack, to be blunt with you. There have been multiple quest lines that are somewhat broken, or just never populate. So, you know, I've been playing this for a while. I've never come across an alien minor part. So I don't even know where to begin as far as getting them. Everything else that's in here, yeah, I mean, it's taking these minor parts, so you would think that they'd be fairly simple to get. I don't know if that's something that we needed to trade with some of the villagers, or what it was, but I think I'm satisfied with the progress we got in the pack. Everything else is either just going to be, you know, craft these generators, or, you know, something along those lines, craft all these ducks and stuff. And I've never been a big fan of crafting just for the purpose of crafting. If it's something like, I know Project Ozone 3 Kappa mode, you know, has some really intensive crafting recipes in order for you to finish it. And that kind of stuff I can respect, because it, you know, it requires a lot of animation, a lot of thought put into how you're going to set stuff up, the logistics of getting everything and getting everything running. So those type of quest lines I don't really mind too much. But when they're like, hey, you know, make 56 item ducks that you're never going to use, that's kind of when I start drawing the line there a little bit. The computers, like I said, I can't finish it. Dark matter I can't get into. The pets seems like it's just luck based. You're either going to find them or you're not going to find them. The deep mob learning, I don't have a use for any of the guardian or slime or witch or something like that, so I just never went out and got it. We, surprisingly enough, never needed applied energistics in this pack. Now, if I could have gotten this a lot earlier in the pack, I might have gone into it a little bit sooner, but I probably wouldn't have done anything other than, you know, a crafting terminal and a couple of drives. That was really all the need that I had for it. So yeah. And then the exosuits. I'll say this about the exosuits. I don't know how to make them. So if I click on them, it says I need to make them in a fabricator. I made the fabricator. These reinforced iron plates seem simple enough to make, but it says I need an Atlas unit. Well, if I click on the Atlas units or push R over the Atlas units, it doesn't show me anything. So it's apparently it's not craftable. It's not a drop reward or anything like that. So yeah, I unfortunately I can't make them because, you know, as far as I've been around, like this is the fabricator right here. As far as I've been around all the planets that I've been on, I've never come across any type of Atlas unit or anything like that. So unless it's an item that I just wasn't picking up in dungeon chests and stuff like that, which is more than possible. Yeah, I have no way of obtaining them. So unfortunately, I can't complete that quest line. But everything else we've pretty much done. We never made the sniper rifle, and we never made the flux infused sword. I mean, yeah, that is kind of what it is. Flux crystals, you know, we could make that, but again, I have the glitch sword. I have a bunch of enchants on it. There's really no need for me to have a flux infused sword. Plus, none of the bosses, you know, really even stand a chance against this glitch infused sword. Like, I'm sure I could make something like super overpowered and just go in there and pretty much one hit them, but yeah, there's not much use for it. The ore miner and the resource miner, I could AFK for another 2 weeks, try and slowly building up all the resources I need to max those things out. But again, there's nothing that we have. We know we don't have draconic evolution in here, so we don't have to fill up like a tier 7 reactor or anything like that. So we don't have a whole lot of use for the top tier solar panels. You know, so yeah, I think with that, I'm actually going to call it an end to this pack. I can't really see anything else that I really want to push for. I kind of personally feel like we've completed the pack. We may not have 100%ed all of the quests, but we did do what we could do. So that brings up, what do we play next? So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. I've been searching through the mod packs, and there's been a couple that kind of drew my attention. However, I haven't made up my mind 100% on what to do next. So if there is a mod pack that you guys would like to see me play, leave a comment down below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. It helps me out greatly. Until next time, guys, stay awesome, be safe, and I'll see you later.